This week in gaming, Pikmin 3 has returned, to the Wii U that is. The Nintendo Switch will finally be available to purchase in Brazil on September 18th for the equivalent of about $565 US. The next Xbox has been priced at an astonishing $299. PAX Online is coming up, and I'm gonna cover it, and Nvidia set the world on fire with their latest GPU announcements. All this and more on this week's episode of 1RBC Gaming Weekly. First off, that Xbox news. Earlier, there was a bit of a leak involving a snack food that seemed to reveal Microsoft's next console is costing $600, a price point which made everybody nod their heads and say, yeah, that sounds about right. So imagine the surprise when Microsoft officially unveiled the price of the Xbox Series S at $300. That's about $50 more than Nintendo's Lite version of the Switch, and considering the hardware that the Series S is packing, is sort of a big deal. Bear in mind that the Series S is going to be running the same games as the X, but unlike the X, it won't have a disk drive, meaning that the 3 generations of back compatibility will only apply to digital titles on the Series S. Your physical copy of Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge won't be playable on the Series S. Chances are, Microsoft's selling this thing at a loss. Their strategy? Make up for the loss through software sales, but also through subscriptions. Ever since the original Xbox, to enjoy online multiplayer on the platform has required a paid subscription to Xbox Live. There were rumors circulating earlier this year that Microsoft would ditch the requirement for Xbox Live Gold for multiplayer, but those have been shot down. Microsoft has also seen great profits with their Game Pass subscription service, which is a bit like Netflix for games on both Xbox as well as PC. If you prefer to hold on to your discs, and you'd like some additional power, the bafflingly named Xbox Series X is priced at $500, which puts it in that sweet spot for a lot of consumers. Microsoft isn't alone in releasing a digital-only version of their next console. Sony's PlayStation 5 will also boast a slimmer, cheaper model without a disk drive. Sort of ironic, considering that's how the PlayStation brand started. There's still no word on PS5 pricing, but we'll keep our eyes open. Microsoft's next box will be released on November 10th, 2020. In most of the years that I've worked as a video game journalist, I've attended the Penny Arcade Expo, PAX East in particular. This year, thanks to the current events, I decided to skip PAX East. Now this week, however, I'm going to be attending PAX Online. From September 12th to 20th, PAX Online is being held. Just like the regular PAX, there will be panels and I'll be interviewing people and previewing games. Is this going to be the same as regular PAX? No. Not by a long shot. But in the interest of everybody's safety, I'm supporting this, and you know what? I think we're going to have a good time. The festivities kick off on a Saturday with a panel featuring Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith. Later in the week will be more stuff. Expect to see Tony Hawk in the PAX Arena, and a panel featuring the cast of Overwatch. Since I'm signed up as press, I've been getting emails from exhibitors. Some stuff that's caught my eye thus far, that I'm allowed to talk about, include Alien Hominid Invasion from the Behemoth, they're usually a mainstay at every PAX East, as well as a game called Fire Tonight, which is a video game about a couple trying to find each other in a burning city. If you've never been able to attend a PAX because it's been too expensive or too far away, well, here's your chance. PAX Online is going to be online, as the title suggests, and it's going to be completely free. So, Pikmin 3 is back on the Wii U. Specifically on the Wii U eShop after Nintendo delisted it a few weeks ago, making it unavailable to purchase. Why is this a big deal, you ask? Well, for starters, it happened at the same time as a deluxe edition of Pikmin 3 being simultaneously announced and digitally released for the Nintendo Switch. From the looks of things, it seemed as though Nintendo was trying to bump sales of the game up by taking away a consumer's ability to purchase it more cheaply on another platform. Now, is that illegal? Technically speaking, no. Nintendo owns the platform after all, and they didn't take away anybody's digital copy that they'd already purchased. That said, something being legal doesn't make it right, and the move sparked outrage among many gamers. Understandably so. Many Wii U owners, myself included, felt that the console really got the short end of the stick from Nintendo regarding support and lifespan. To see them taking away support for a console you could still purchase games for absolutely does not bode well. It seemed as though they were employing a strategy centered around farts, or forced artificial scarcity. push sales of a new game and console. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with the idea, it's the concept of taking a resource, in this case Pikmin Free, and making it more valuable by making it harder to obtain. Disney quite infamously employed the strategy with the Disney Vault. Essentially, they'd release movies on VHS tapes and DVDs for a limited time only, and then lock them away in the so-called vault, meaning that if you didn't buy those movies when they were available, too bad, you wouldn't ever own them. This strategy worked, but it was also decried as being anti-consumer by placing undue pressure on people to buy, and to buy quickly. This hasn't been Nintendo's only recent foray into farts territory, however, as the newly announced compilation, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, is coming to the Switch on September 18th, and it will only be available until March 31st, 2021. This isn't necessarily wrong. It's sorta like how Valve's Orange Box collection is no longer available to purchase on Steam. Oh. Seriously though, it's weird for Nintendo to do that. It would make sense for them to release the titles separately down the road and have this collection available as a bundled bargain deal, but if that's what they're planning, maybe it would be wiser of them to communicate that to consumers. Super Mario 3D All-Stars contains Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario 64, games which are not that rare and have been re-released before. It also contains Super Mario Sunshine, which hasn't been re-released since the GameCube days, and is one of the rarer Mario games. Perhaps Nintendo, considering the rarity of Sunshine, is banking on that. Quietly, Nintendo put Pikmin Free back where it was before, and just like that, the galaxy is at peace. Personally, I'm suspecting that Nintendo did this to test the waters for future farts. What do you think? Did Nintendo do this to punish people on the Wii U, or is it part of a broader, nefarious plot to ruin the gaming industry? Are you going to answer me, or are you sick of unfair and clearly biased leading questions that are meant to stoke outrage rather than thoughtful and measured discussion? Let us know at OneRuleBeCool on Twitter. The League of Legends-based card game Legends of Runeterra has received a major update, Call of the Mountain. This update brought 7 new champions, tons of new cards, and another region called Targon to the game. I confess, I'm not really familiar with League of Legends, but I do play Runeterra and I've grown to love it. It's a card game with a lot of moving pieces, a fair monetization method, and it's a lot easier to get cards for free compared to something like Blizzard's Hearthstone. Plus, there's tons of interesting mechanics. I haven't had this much fun with a card game since Mojang's Scrolls, now called Caller's Bane. I've been playing the update, and I have to say that it's definitely shaken up the meta in some interesting ways. The cards from the new region tend to be focused on supporting existing units, or on Celestial cards, which are granted to players at semi-random. You can't actually put a specific Celestial card into your deck when you construct it, with the exception of the Messenger, meaning that your deck is going to have to be built around improvisation and long-term survival. I feel that a few of the new cards definitely need some nerfs for balance, but overall, I'm excited by the direction that the game's heading in. Legends of Runeterra is available for Android, iOS, and PC. We have some great news for Minecraft fans. Everybody's favorite blockbuster is coming to virtual reality, specifically the PlayStation VR system. It's a free update that's coming later this month, and it has me wondering a few things. Like, how are they gonna handle the slew of heart attacks that'll occur when people encounter creepers in VR? Speaking seriously, however, it's neat to see that this update's coming out free of charge. This could have easily been paid DLC or even a separate title. Minecraft already has VR support for its PC edition, and there's Minecraft 4V Gear VR, though that's only compatible with Samsung devices.
It all started 8 years ago with an idea for a game about automation.
In game releases, we have one from last week that's super cool, and so we're talking about it now. It's Factorio. Factorio is a game that's considered a shining star of Steam's early access, and a prime example of the system giving niche games a place to shine. Factorio is a real-time strategy game in which you have to build your units. Like, really, you have to put down factories, assembly lines, gather resources, and avoid getting killed by aliens. You know how in Pikmin you control a main character on the ground and have him command your little plant friends? Factorio is like that, but without the plant friends. It's a game about resource management that aesthetically reminds me of a DOS game, but gameplay-wise, it's like nothing else on the market. I played Factorio way back in 2016, and while I found it pretty cool, it was also sort of complicated. It seemed sort of impenetrable to me then. From what I've been hearing, however, this latest version of the game is a lot more user-friendly. I'm looking forward to trying it out again. Even though the game's had a lengthy development cycle, over 8 years, the developer's done a fantastic job of keeping up with regular updates. If building complex and efficient factories sounds like it's up your alley, check out Factorio. This finished version of the game is available for Mac, Windows, and Linux. Also out this week is strategy game As Far as the Eye, a turn-based roguelike about creating a mobile village of shapeshifters. It's got a very pretty sort of autumnal aesthetic, and I've been playing it, and I'm under embargo right now, so I can't really say too much about it, besides I like it. You're being chased by ever-encroaching water, and you travel from place to place, collecting resources necessary to your survival while guiding your villagers. You have to be careful not to take too much or spend too long in any given place. There's consequences for that. From what I've played thus far, I've been enjoying it. Stick around for the rest of my thoughts once the embargo goes up. A trailer that surprised me recently was a quick teaser for Earthworm Jim 4. I forgot that there was an Earthworm Jim 3, honestly. It caught my eye because I was a big fan of the original as a kid. Interestingly enough, this one's going to be exclusive to the Intellivision Amico, which I hadn't heard of until now. I've looked into it, and it's looking like it could be the second coming of Ouya. The console is coming in 2021, and it's running some sort of modified Android OS. It's aimed squarely at families. If you're putting a game on the Amico, it needs to be rated E or E10+. A big part of their marketing is that parents don't have to worry about what their kids are playing on the Amico. Personally, I like that idea, in part because there seems to be a bit of a hole in the market for games you can actually share with the kids from anybody who's not Nintendo. That said, I'm not totally sure this is the right way to go about reaching that audience. Like, I'll be honest, Earthworm Jim 4 seems like a strange pick for the Intellivision Amico. The whole thing is weird all around. Think about it. The people who have nostalgia for Earthworm Jim are going to be those people who gamed on the Sega Genesis, the SNES, and Windows 95. The people with Intellivision nostalgia, well, there aren't a whole lot of them, and honestly, they're a fair bit older than the Sega Genesis crowd, and there's not a whole lot of crossover between them, the Earthworm Jim audience, and today's kids. It's a strange idea. I'm curious to see how it turns out, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the Intellivision Amico is not going to be a top seller. Finally, we've got a Kickstarter project that deserves your attention. McDroid for the Nintendo Switch. Now, I've been a fan of McDroid for a long time. Originally released on PC, it's a video game in which you're a robot farmer trying to protect your strawberry farm from invading worms with lasers. It's a tower defense game in the same way that Dota 2 is an RTS. It's fast-paced, got an incredibly cute aesthetic, and is well worth your attention. Check out the Kickstarter if you're looking for something unique to play on your Switch. That's it for this week's episode of 1RBC Gaming Weekly. For all the greatest game news, reviews, previews, interviews, and more, be sure to follow at OneRuleBeCool on Twitter and Instagram.
Voilà.
Tu aimes ça, toi?
Ah ouais, j'aime.
Celle-ci,
T'aimes
celle-ci. Hein? Je sais pas, je trouve ça bizarre.
No, we have rules that because of the traffic, it can't be flashing.
Can you talk about some of the influences that inspired this game?
one of the biggest influences is R-Type. That's why we have the wave gun, which is an accumulating weapon, and that's why it's so hectic, and that's why it's also has big boss monsters. And the other influence is Dune 2, because there was this awesome level where the Harkonnen were at the bottom of the map, and the Atreides, you were the Atreides at the top, and you were getting attacked by nuclear bomb all the time, which was the first time I saw combined strategy and hectic action. Or Red Alert, you know, when you have these Tesla coils that link up. I have a Tesla coil on my main character, and the cool thing is in MacDroid, you can have not only one Tesla coil, you can have 3 of them on your robots, and then have all the other towers link up to you and create, you know, massive destruction. That's basically this kind of, these two genres that usually don't mesh. We manage somehow to make something that works.